This episode is brought to you by Stay in LA, a grassroots movement fighting to keep film, TV, and commercial production in Los Angeles. We are crew, vendors, and small businesses pushing to expand tax incentives and to protect California jobs. This isn't just Hollywood, it's our economy. Sign the petition and donate at stayinla.org. Let's keep production and opportunity right here in LA.
We are live. Ready?
This week in Hollywood history, April 12th, 1947, Orson Welles starts a bar fight with himself. During a post-screening party for The Lady from Shanghai, Orson Welles allegedly got so drunk he started arguing with his own reflection in a mirrored wall at Musso and Frank's. When someone tried to stop him, Welles said, "Stay out of it. He knows what he did." He threw a drink, hit the mirror, cut his hand, and then blamed the bartender for serving his evil twin. This is Radio Free Hollywood. I'm John Kassir.
And I'm Steve Jacob. Today, we are talking about Stay in LA. We're at the rally talking to people. All kinds of speakers are here. It is a party. They're expecting about 1,000 people, and it looks like 2,000 have already shown up. We are live on YouTube for the first time. We've never done this podcast live.
Amazing.
And that is a lot of fun. And people are just kind of flowing through and staring at us like they have no idea what we're doing. And they're right. We have no idea what we're doing.
Hey, man, is this where the testimonial booth is?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so this week we are going to talk about a new report from Film LA finds that soundstage use in LA is way down. The city of Los Angeles is taking action to bring films and commercials back. And we will talk to three of the Stay in LA organizers, Pamala Buzick Kim, Wes Bailey, and Harley Wolitsky.
Yeah.
But first, we have to do our banter. First, I want to hear about the Great Llama Caper. You pulled one over.
Oh, you're gonna ask me about that? Oh, well, this was April Fool's this week, April 1st. And, having been a comedian, people always expect me to do funny stuff. And I usually bow out on April Fool's Day because everybody expects it, especially from me. But this year, my wife and I decided we would do something fun. Hi, Vanessa. And we would, what I did was I photoshopped, I like you, Steve, I live in a horse community. We have a small horse ranch there. And decided to superimpose llamas in our horse corral and send it out at the end of the day so people would kind of forget that it was April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
But
they did.
To our shock, including you and your wife, believed us. It was, I don't know what that says about Vanessa and I, but so many people believed it was true.
Well, my wife went down there looking for the llamas and then called you when she didn't see them. She was hoping they didn't get killed and dragged off by llamas.
We have so many friends that like we can't get to come visit us. They're always like, "Oh, it's too far." I'm like, "It's the same distance from us to you than it is from you to us." They're like, "Hey, we want to come up and see the llamas," and they were all ready. So we weren't going to tell anybody. We didn't actually have them, so they would all come up.
Just let them keep showing up.
Anyway, that was April. People finally were like, "What did you name them?" I go, "April and Fools," and they finally got it.
They finally got it.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, we saw each other yesterday. We went to the big protest in Malibu.
Hands off.
Hands off. Hands off my Social Security, man.
Hands off my 401k.
Yeah.
Hands off my diplomacy. Hands off my...
Hands off everything.
Yeah, my democracy, baby.
Yeah. But that was kind of fun.
It was fun. It was good to see people really invested in getting a voice about this. And it's just the beginning. I mean, I truly feel like it's going to have to be a full-scale revolution to get any of this done. But, I mean...
Yeah, hopefully a peaceful revolution. But I'm hoping that there's just going to be we keep doing it over
Yeah.
and over again, like
Has to
once
happen.
a month,
At least.
and more people will start getting in the street about it, because that's what has to happen.
Yeah. And right now we're in the street for Stay in LA.
Stay in LA. Okay, so let's talk about that. For those who are on YouTube who don't know us, or don't know us well, or just sort of stumbling into this, we live in California. We are both professionals in the entertainment industry, and there's been a frightening
Loss
of work for everybody. It just keeps leaving, and not only going to other states that have like better tax incentives than we do, other countries. Yeah, a lot in
England,
Europe.
Canada.
Yep. Although Canada, I'm interested to see what happens with Canada. But
Well, they may bring it back to the States if it becomes the 51st state. So,
well, that would be nice, yeah. But I don't necessarily see that happening. That bleeds into our first news story, which is the LA soundstage occupancy declined to a new low of 63% in 2024, with no signs of improvement. Soundstage occupancy in Los Angeles, which was in the 90% percentile from 2016 to 2022, fell to 63% in 2024. LA
Wow.
Film's Soundstage Production Report worked with 17 studios in the greater Los Angeles area to source the data. The report includes detailed soundstage occupancy and stage and backlot filming data for all of 2023, new soundstage occupancy data for all of 2024, and a comparison of available stage space in the greater Los Angeles and major competing markets in 2025 and 5 years earlier. This is not good. It's a terrible indication of what's happening. What's interesting today, we're sitting on a soundstage, Surreal, which is a soundstage at the back of the valley where a lot of sound stages are. And it's nice to see them so filled with people. Yeah, I'm sure you can hear them in the background.
It's amazing to me because I came out here and started working steadily from theater in New York to television here in Los Angeles in 1985. And I remember projects that had to wait because there weren't sound stages available.
Yeah.
That's
what used to be normal.
It used to be a norm, and we're talking about the big studios. We're talking about Warner Brothers and CBS Radford and, all these, who kept having to build more and more sound stages to accommodate the amount of production here in Los Angeles. I just don't understand why the people up north don't get it when it comes to voting in these tax incentives, because we know it's not only affecting just people in our industry, and we're talking about blue collar people who are working jobs that support this industry. People are always trying to jump on the bandwagon. Go, well, what do we care about, rich actors and stuff like that? That's not the case. That's a tiny percentage of and a lot of those shoot on location somewhere for an exotic reason of an exotic location. And we're talking about the bread and butter production that takes place here that keeps everybody working and keeps all the businesses locally and throughout Los Angeles working.
Well, I mean, it's everything. It's dry cleaners, it's caterers, it's a whole
home care,
legions of healthcare. I was just talking to California Cares, and before we started, and they're trying to make a move on. They say that healthcare is a big issue in the budgeting of projects that come to LA, and they're trying to figure out something a little bit more state supported that will help in that regard. So it's, you name it, it's everything. It's like,
and of course with the let's not be tone deaf either with everything that's happened with these fires where so many people lost so much. And how do they come back? How do they come back without having the backup of having work?
I mean, that's it. And so we are going to now interview one of the founders of
Stay in LA.
Stay in LA and Cal United, Pamala Buzick Kim. And she's sitting down now. We're waiting for her to get settled. It's a very noisy room, so you're going to have to get right up on the mic.
Is this really good for you? It's good for me.
You've done this before.
Maybe I'm a natural.
As long as it's good for you. Okay.
Are you blushing?
I might be. I don't know. Pamala Buzick Kim is co-founder of CA United and a small business owner of a production-facing company called Maven. Pamala has led diverse initiatives across advertising, production, and nonprofit sectors. As the former executive director of Free the Work, she spearheaded programs to promote diversity in media production and supported underrepresented creators in making their voices heard. Her career spans roles in advertising, tech, and nonprofit leadership, with a focus on advocating for equity, inclusivity, and groundbreaking creative partnerships. From pushing for tax credits for California's production industry to building alliances for minority-owned businesses, she is dedicated to creating opportunities that merge business goals with positive social impact.
Whoa, I sound pretty dope.
You are dope.
Sound great.
We're pretty
really
cool.
Guys, I don't even know who wrote that, but thank you.
I'm totally blushing now.
I'll take credit for it.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
So I guess, something I've wondered, I mean, I'm on the board, but we've never had time to discuss how did CA United and Stay in LA come together? I mean, what was the start of it?
Well, I think it started, first I would say there was 5 different groups that kind of had petitions out about the red tape around the California tax incentives. And this was the pre-fires. And so first we put all those folks together first and said, okay, we should combine our efforts. What should it be? And we said, well, who has a website already? And Wes was like, I do. So we're like, great, we'll be California United. So then that started. And then all of a sudden, about 2-3 weeks later, we had the terrible fires in Altadena and Palisades. And another group that I had helped fundraise for during the writer's strike, where this group of incredible writers and directors that came together under TUSC, so the United Solidarity Coalition. And we raised about $500,000 for the MPTF for folks who were going to lose their health insurance and all of those different things. So I had already been assisting them on that front. And so when I kind of saw California United, I was like, oh shit, we need to do something. And then I was also seeing the writers directors group going, oh, we need to do something. I was like, oh, we should just be tying our efforts together. And so what worked really beautifully and magical was that the writers directors were like, we're going to do the awareness front. We're going to push that. And then the California United side is like, we're going to deal with policy. Like, we're going to really push the legislative front. And the crazy thing is as much as we've sort of had our own lanes, we've crossed over back and forth and helped each other on a lot of different fronts, because one doesn't succeed without the other in a way. It's almost like an anecdotal story versus data. And so to make anything move in government nowadays, you need the data, but it needs to be filled with heart and real people. And that's what we're dealing with, is the community and real people in this industry who are hurting. And, it's not one and done today, but it at least keeps us in the conversation.
Yeah, it takes a lot of organization.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people have stopped by just seeing us sitting over here.
Yeah, it looks very cool, guys.
Radio Free Hollywood.
Will did that. This is all Will.
Yeah, thanks, Will.
We're just window dressing.
Yeah.
Will McKing, the tech director, is responsible for anything that goes right here, and we're responsible for everything that goes wrong. Now, I know you've done some lobbying in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us how that went? I mean, what was accomplished?
Yeah. So thankfully, and also weirdly, this has not been my first rodeo with tax incentives in a state. So I actually started doing this in Georgia initially, but it had to do with the kind of underrepresented additional credits that we were trying to add to Georgia's already great credits. So we were trying to add another element. After that, I actually worked on the additional tax credits for underrepresented folks in addition to the tax incentives we have in California. So I've had a lot of experience on this front, but what we needed to do was really evolve and kind of really relook and audit kind of what we had going on. And surprise, surprise, the expiration was coming up. So this was a perfect time and moment to say, hey, this is okay, but we could be doing better, and everybody else has caught up, if not excelled beyond us. So this is a great moment for us to amend that bill. And so Newsom had already come out with an extension of basically doubling the tax credit and adding a couple things here and there, making it refundable, et cetera, et cetera. But what we really needed to do was look at, okay, is this still competitive even if we just double the pot? And the answer is like, not really.
No.
So so the fact that we were able to add suggestions of adding large competition shows, because you know that there's people being flown to like Ireland, Americans being flown to Ireland to do an American competition show. It's cheaper. So like, that's madness. So one, getting competition shows added, getting post stuff added. You know, again, these are all much more film and TV based things. And then after we get that done, and fingers crossed we get that passed, we can then also talk about commercial production, which has been devastated too. We're down by over 40% on commercial production as well.
Wow.
Yes.
You know, with the streaming companies and everything adding commercials, you'd think that would be coming back.
I know.
We need to be a part
I
of
thought it was
that.
going to explode too. I thought it was too, but we have a couple of variables that are holding us back on that front too. But also, I think the end of the day, like we have to, if you want a stimulus job workforce program, you got to get commercials going, because the turnover on commercials and the budgets on commercials,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
that's a great opportunity for us to kind of tackle next.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I love what you were saying about what you were doing in Georgia with these other incentives and other things that we can help. I mean, come on, even doubling it at $750 million is a couple of series on Netflix. It doesn't really cover much of what's being we would like to
Well, we're
produce
cutting
here.
it. They need to cut up the pie a little bit differently, because we're also making sure that independent films, so they are slicing the pie a little bit differently on that 750 to essentially make sure that it doesn't just go to one or two shows, because that is a big concern. So that is happening. How much is it happening, or what is the opportunity for that to be decided? But those are some of the measures that we've been pushing and getting into the amendment bills.
I mean, what are we competing with here? I mean, to give people an example of what someplace like Georgia or Toronto or is offering, it's like they have unlimited, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have to be careful too, because we don't want it to be a race to the bottom. So we're not necessarily asking to be just same as all the others, because they also do their math differently. We're also the 5th largest GDP. Like, there's a lot of other things that are available, but we have to at least be competitive enough to stay in the conversation. So if an episode costs 1.6, but they can go do it in Canada for $9.50, but we don't have enough of a tax incentive, that's not even a conversation. But if we have a tax incentive that gets us to 1.2, now we're not as cheap as Canada, but that keeps us relevant in the competition and of the conversation, because they might go, oh, that 200, 250, is that really worth taking and traveling everybody and the heartache and the emotional and the families? Now all of a sudden we're like, okay, we're not trying to be the cheapest, but we're at least staying competitive.
Yeah.
I got you.
We want to let you go here in a minute.
Yes.
Because you have a lot to do. What's next?
So what's next is local measures. So we have definitely made some clear path on local measures, having more conversations with Film LA, the other regional permitting offices, to make it easier to shoot in LA from an independent measure, from all those different things, and then tackling commercial production.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
taking the
So
time
lovely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
I might get too used to this.
Everything you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate you too.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, y'all.
All right,
Cheers.
Thanks.
Thank you. There you go.
So, all right.
I mean, it's amazing to even think about, because it feels so far away from that, you know, when you see what is being offered in other places. And here, this is where it all started, you know, to to be the place that people identify as where all this started, where all this is relevant, where all of it is important, where everybody comes to pursue those dreams of doing this, to not have the resources that other places are being given in terms of that.
Oh, here comes our next guest. I'm so
Mr.
glad
Wes
that-
Bailey.
Mr. Wes Bailey. Woo! Yeah.
Man.
Okay. I know.
This?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You have to get up on the mic because this is a very loud room.
Okay.
So whatever you need to do, pull it towards you.
Okay, it stretches a little bit. There we go.
It does. Very good. So, Wes Bailey. Oh my God, the man, the legend. Okay. Wes Bailey is founder and CEO of Surreal Studio Services. Wes has led one of Hollywood's premier studio equipment rental companies for over 25 years. Since 1996. I was only 16 then.
Yeah.
Surreal has been a
Sure,
trusted
Steve.
partner to the entertainment industry, providing innovative equipment solutions and unmatched service to productions of every size. When a new crisis developed with Runaway production, Wes co-founded California United, an organization focused on increasing the incentives for California for film and TV. He collaborated with Tusk to launch Stay in LA in response to the devastating Los Angeles fires. This initiative was created to support local productions and reinforce California's position as a global hub for entertainment, even in times of crisis. Welcome, Wes.
Thank you. Wow, that's pretty. That's very. Get it all there. Except for I just want to be clear. It sounded like I did everything, and I want to make. I just got the people in the room that are doing everything.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, seriously, you're the one that's taken the lead on the rally today, and we appreciate that, us personally, but everybody here does. And it's a big undertaking. Do you tell us about how you managed all that to come together?
Well, I think I've always been more the idea guy, right? And I've been lucky to have people around me that know how to get these things done. And the rally, truthfully, the rally kind of came. I don't even know. I wonder. We something we talked about, increasing awareness, and I'm not even sure when the moment happened where it started to become a real thing. But then suddenly it was. And so I credit my team. I credit Pamala, and I credit Marie, and I credit Harley and Steve, and a whole bunch of people for starting to really push to get this happening. It happened. It feels like only about 2 months since we started the process. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I'm surprised how big it grew.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's packed
big.
here, ladies and gentlemen. It's packed.
Yeah, I mean, I remember having those initial conversations, and we said, well, we'll probably get 400 to 500 RSVPs, and 200 to 300 people max will show up, And I actually had already started doing the thinking about how you need to make sure we pack them in a position in a way that it looks like there's more people than there are.
Mhm.
Not necessary.
No, not
The
necessary.
magic of movie making.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, so so we have the rally, and it's just like this is a kind of big event, and it almost feels like some kind of apex, but we have to move to something else.
Yeah.
So what does it look like? What are the next steps? What are the next events that we might do? Have you thought anybody about that? I mean, you are the visionary after all.
I think the most important thing that needs to happen today, and it needs to happen forever, is that we first recognize that LA isn't us. It's a we that we need to protect. If we don't protect that, because the world will keep dragging business away, other states will drag business away. And so I think we were like the really good looking quarterback or cheerleader that didn't have to try for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of people were trying outside of this market, and they tried and they achieved a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can go through all the whys, but there were some decisions that we made, maybe not even conscious decisions that allowed our competition to grow and to develop into real competition. And I think that the hope of it all is that we recognize first that we need to protect our industry. We need to protect this market. And if we recognize that that's important and that shades all of the conversations that we have going forward, we will be able to figure out ways to get in the room. And California United will always be there as a place that the stakeholders who might have individual, disagreements on contracts or how things might be, they're going to everybody's going to have their own opinions about what should be and how things should get done and how much this person or that person should get paid. I want California United to always be a place where those different stakeholders feel like it's not about their individual conversations, their individual negotiations, but it's actually a place where they can come together with their competitors, even with anybody, and build Los Angeles, build California as back to being the premier film production market in the world.
Yeah. I'm really happy that this is coming together like this because all my competitors are not here.
Yeah.
And they should be here.
I obviously Surreal is my baby.
Yeah.
I have in the parking lot Coyote, my probably biggest competitor.
Yeah.
I have Galpin. I have Line 204.
Oh,
I'm giving them all shout outs right here on your podcast because I actually think that that's important that we give the message that, yes, we're going to compete for business, but first of all, let's compete together to get the business here before we. Yeah. So yeah, let's see it as an us and a we first.
Before it's too late, like Detroit.
Yeah.
You were bringing that up earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's, you go to the UK, you've got steel industry or our American steel industry, and regardless of how this happens, I think there's going to be a lot of conversations. But I think one of the other things that's really important that I've learned, I've never been in politics before. I know some of my teammates have, and so they understand some of these things that I never understood. But I think it's pretty important that you understand that your politicians, even though you vote for them and they give lip service to, hey, we want the film industry back in Los Angeles or whatever it is, those people don't know how. They want it, they would support it, but they don't even know what to vote for or what to advocate for. So California United and Stay in LA hopefully will always be there as a resource to those politicians, to the city councils, to the mayors who want to say, hey, I've got this idea. I really want more production in Burbank. What are the ideas for how we do that? And I want to make sure that they have the first thing that comes up in their head is, I'm going to reach out to California United and find out what their thoughts are on that, because we're not going to endorse candidates. We're going to give people a place to have their conversation and make their pitch to California.
Have them compete for us. You know, that's a very smart move.
No, I agree. I brought up my competitors a few minutes ago because I'm hoping that it grows to the point where we're pulling those people in, because there is an executive sort of world that I float in, and we can get stuff done on our end, but there needs to be some critical mass.
Yeah.
More people have to come in. And if they're my competitors, I don't care. It doesn't, just like you. The more the merrier. It's a we, as you said. And
well, car dealerships figured that out a long time ago, right? When they have their auto mall or whatever it is, they figured out that having Ford and Toyota next to each other do better than
that's correct.
Than either one of them would do on their own. So that's what we need to make sure of is first, let's get it here. Then we can once they're in our car dealership row, if you will, then we can try and sell them cars. But let's make sure they come here first.
I never quite thought of it like that. But
to Hollywood Movie Mall. I love that.
Hollywood Movie Mall. Hey, it's a concept.
It is.
Johnny's an idea.
I like
guy.
the jingle. She's already it already has started. I can hear it.
Yeah. So I know you have a lot to do around here, so we're going to let you go.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
The turnout is amazing.
It's amazing.
Thank you for doing this. It's just the start, we know, but it's a good start. And
it's exciting.
I think it's starting a dialogue that because people don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They sit at home and go, what am I supposed to do? Who's supposed to be advocating for me right now?
Totally. And you know what? I think that's another thing that people don't realize. when they would, from the outside, when you look at that Hollywood, you go, oh, wow, it's this Hollywood movie industry. But what they don't realize is how fragmented our industry was and it really is. I think it's changing. But, you didn't talk to your competitors. You always were competing, and we didn't have that us, that we, and I hope that's what changes starting today.
That's a great thought.
That's a great thought. Great mantra. Well,
Hey,
Wes,
thanks for being part of telling this story too. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, man.
Thank
Okay.
you, Wes. Wes
Wow.
Bailey,
Wes
everybody.
Bailey, the man,
The myth,
the legend.
the idea man. No, seriously, that's amazing. And now, ladies and gentlemen,
We are going to talk to Harley Wolitsky. Yeah, hang on. We're having a little technical problem here. This is Wes's fault. He did this.
no, it's because we're live.
It's 'cause
We're live, ladies and gentlemen, and
Everything
it's
just
hopping
has to
here.
Go wrong. You can't hear? Okay. First of all, you need to get right up on that. Will,
Can you hear us now?
can you hear us now?
A little bit.
A little bit more. More. Up.
Testing.
Tested. Okay. Can we hear you? Okay, that's better.
There we go.
Okay. Harley Wolitsky. Harley is a Los Angeles-based freelance production manager and production coordinator with extensive experience in commercial production. She specializes in managing and executing high-quality campaigns from concept to completion. Harley's goal is to turn creative visions into reality on time and on budget. Welcome, Harley.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, people keep saying it over and over to me, how, you're like the most valuable player in this whole event.
I mean, I will say I've done a lot for sure, but I've had an incredible team. Marie Dunaway, I actually have to give her the credit. She keeps giving it to me, but I'm going to keep giving it back.
Hey, Marie.
She's the one who told me we have to get everybody together. She just didn't have the time to do it, so
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah. So your boots on the ground.
Yes,
Okay. It's been tough
it has been something. Yes.
for a while now. Can you talk a little bit about your journey through this slowdown?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the industry for about, I don't know, I want to say almost 20 years, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I feel blessed to be able to do this. It's an incredible thing. I have noticed quite a slowdown, and it has affected me. I mean, this work is my sanity.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the industry is epic to me. Just like such incredible people and just having that family all the time. But I have noticed it. I've been very lucky, though. I have been working
Mm-hmm.
pretty consistently, but it's not like it was before. And a lot of friends and family are suffering.
Yeah.
And it's really hard.
And
So you're a production manager, so you see what everybody goes through.
Exactly.
Who you hire and who's available to be hired, who had to leave here. I mean, all those different things. You have the eagle eyes on that whole thing happening. So you must really see it. It must affect you emotionally as well.
It does. I mean, I have friends and family that are losing their homes
Yeah.
because they can't afford it
The
anymore. And
fires on top of it.
the
is-
Yeah.
fires on top of it. I know a lot of people that lost their homes in the fires. It's really hard. I can't even imagine what that's like. And then not to have work in addition to that
Yeah.
is just,
And your husband is a grip, right?
he is. Yeah.
And how's he doing? Is he working?
He actually didn't work for almost a full year last year,
Wow.
which is pretty insane. I mean, we're so used to getting 2-3 calls a week
Mm-hmm.
and then it's nothing.
Yeah.
So
Leave that to the actors to have to go through that.
right,
It's,
exactly. But it's, we've made it work. And I mean,
That's
that's
good.
why we're here.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to fight.
Well, we're dedicated to it. I mean, this is where we came for our dreams and to do this because this is where it started. This was the identity of our business. And for people to come here and to see that going away is really, really, really important. How are you feeling about the incentive programs and what kind of, how that might affect, writing our LA production problems?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, my whole, I'm not super in line with everything that's going on with that. In that sense, I am more of the creative side
Yeah,
in
sure.
this kind of thing. But I mean, ultimately, whatever it's going to be, it's got to be big.
Yeah.
Because if it's not,
No, you're obviously at a point where you would see whether it's enough or not enough.
of course.
You
of
know, I
course.
mean, that's really how it trickles down to you. I mean, you actually see the effects of it.
Yeah.
You know, you may not see the bureaucracy of it, as you were saying, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean, certainly you're going to see the direct effects of it. And I mean, obviously, I can almost answer my own question by saying I agree with you. It's just it seems like it's not enough. We don't want to say too little, too late, because it's never too late. We're gonna fight till he comes back, and
Absolutely.
it's packed here. Look at all these people. We're all here, and this is just starting. So
I know. It's awesome.
It's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool.
It's like when it comes to the incentives, I always go back to the criteria.
Yeah.
I always go back to what's eligible. The TV commercials are not eligible.
Yeah.
That's a problem for LA in general.
It's
It's
huge.
a problem for the state of California.
absolutely.
When the ratio is every dollar spent creates $24,
Yeah.
then commercials are a very big part of that.
And it's mind blowing that wouldn't even be a part of it. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
It is a massive part of it.
there's no rationale to any of it.
No.
I mean, I remember years ago when we were like, "Hey, let's put Arnold Schwarzenegger in. Maybe he can get something done.
Yeah.
He understands it from
exactly.
the inside
Well,
out."
He tried.
And he tried,
he-
but they were so resistant. And I never understood why. I go,
Yeah.
you are losing so many tax dollars. What's wrong with you? I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's competing interests. It's a big state. There are a lot
Is
of
that what it is?
representatives, and what the reps from the Central Coast are representing farming interests. North, they're representing Silicon Valley interests, tech interests, and there's only so much money, and everyone's trying to get it. So
Exactly. Yeah.
it becomes this sort of like,
Race to the
Kate-
finish line.
cage match is
Yeah.
more
Absolutely. It does.
what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that's.
Hey, listen, it's not like this state didn't survive off of this for all these years.
Yeah.
I mean, we've proven that if we have the money and have the resources and keep the production here, it pays off to the entire state.
Yeah.
So,
And we as a whole, we created the magic that is
that's it.
Hollywood.
That's it.
And for that to go away is an insane shame.
Yeah.
And I think that, we just need to do our best to bring it back, and we gotta fight for it.
Yeah, that's the part of it that makes me a little crazy when you talk about, everyone from Ted Sarandos, basically LA, California made Ted Sarandos what he was.
Right.
And that company still gets all kinds of benefits from tax benefits from the state outside of the film
Right.
incentive benefits. And then Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Doing the whole Texas thing.
They did not become stars in like San Antonio.
No, they did
all
not.
right? They became stars in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And for them to like turn around and like then kind of crap
Say
all
thanks,
It's just so
bye.
Yeah.
it's just so
Thanks for
tone
the
deaf too
fish.
with everything that's going on here and
Yeah.
the fires and everything. And the amount of people that are based here to work, that are pros at what they do, that have spent years dedicated to movie making, and then all the different support industries that are there that have nothing to do with our industry but are directly affected
Absolutely. It's a trickle down effect, and it's big for everybody.
by it. Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. Well, we don't want to take too much of your time.
We want to
Because-
thank you.
Since
you
you
guys.
are the most valuable player at this event, we got to let you get back to what you are doing to hold this all together. Because
I'll try.
It is greatly growing out of control. So thank you, Harley.
Thank you,
for
guys.
Thanks,
everything
Harley.
you do. And this is just amazing. And you have such a big part of it. We're very grateful.
Thank you for being part of the team.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Always.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, we have a council member from this. This is her district. Her name is
Imelda. This is her district. She's one of the LA, Los Angeles council members.
Okay.
Excellent.
We want to.
So she's waiting for like one of her like sound persons, something like that, to come to get here, and it should be soon. And I was trying to set you guys up with maybe an interview with her. Can we
Sure.
make that? You want to make that happen?
Yes. You wouldn't happen to have like a bio or a website we can go to.
I'll get it for you right now.
Okay. Give it to Will.
Yeah,
Will, you
yeah,
give it to me.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're still live.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're still live.
And now we're getting requests. if they only had any idea of what
what we're here. Let's talk about, how, the solutions that they're trying to make, and get people to encourage people to do that. Obviously, we just spoke to some of the people who are directly stepping in and trying to make those things happen, but there's some other things that having to do with onerous regulations and permitting required by the city that are significant obstacles to production companies.
Yeah, I mean that's an ongoing thing. When you have, I don't know, they privatized it. It's supposed to be nonprofit. I know Film LA works very, very hard at trying to get it right, but when you have such a mature industry and you've been permitting things for 70 years or so, little things keep coming in, little rules, little this, little that.
Yeah.
And it kind of, we're a critical mass now where to get a permit becomes this process that takes a week and a half, where especially television commercials, they don't have that kind of time.
No.
They just don't.
Especially in a place that should be completely production friendly, because this is what we're trying to define here.
Yeah.
And always have.
Right. And then it's the additional fees on top of what you're getting a permit for. So it becomes a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even realize that.
No.
I mean, all the time I get, approached by people who have a small budget. They're trying to do some small budget movie and they want to have somebody that they admire in their movie or that kind of thing. And I like to give back. I've been very fortunate. I've worked hard for it, obviously, but I've also been very fortunate to have opportunities, and I want to help other young talent, develop themselves along. People did that for me when I was younger, and for them to run into these kind of situations too. I mean, you're also stepping on the future production of what's going to be happening here.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. I mean, they have to get it in line. I know they're trying, but it's like a knot. They're trying to undo this knot of regulation.
Yeah.
And that is not always easy.
No, it's happening with all these people trying to get to the next step that had their homes burned to the ground.
Yeah, I know.
Recently, because of and there's always been a reason why it's been a hard industry in the building industry here in Los Angeles because of not only environmental being close to the ocean and but also earthquake and fire and all these different codes. Obviously, they already know what you need to do, but to go through the bureaucracy of it on top of it is insult to injury and just costs money that people don't have and takes time that people don't have in order to get things done. And it takes years to do something like build a home. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
it shouldn't.
Yeah.
And to have that happen in our main industry here in Los Angeles is my opinion, and always has been for all the years I've been in the business, to see it happen, just detrimental to people wanting to do production here.
Yeah, I agree. So we are, Will says we should take a break now.
Excellent. Take a little break.
I think is a really good idea.
They have a lot of good food here too.
They do have a lot of great food. Yeah. If you are catching this on the fly, come here because it's awesome.
If you're in the industry, you're going to see a lot of people who are here supporting this situation, stay in LA and having a good time. People have brought their families, their kids. They have it's all kid friendly.
Yeah, it's amazing. So we're going to take a break now, but when we're back, we'll be talking to LA City Council member of District 4, Imelda Padilla. So thanks. Stand by. We'll be back.